house had been waiting for a long time. Days turned into nights. Rain washed away the trails in the forest, but no one came anymore. The last feast was nothing but a distant memory. Digested bones and clumps of slime hidden beneath the floor, soaking into the rotting wood. It was starving. It first. The house twitched only occasionally, like a beast in hibernation. But with each passing day, the convulsions grew stronger. Walls contracted, floors swelled and cracked. Thick liquid seeped from within, dark and clotted like decayed blood. Couldn't wait forever. It needed a new shell. Pale, slimy tendrils slithered out of the cracks, stretching toward the ground, feeling the asphalt, absorbing dirt and stone. It was dissolving, shifting into a new form, like a larva shedding its cocoon. The house shrank, vanished, leaving behind only a brownish stain on the earth, like a festering wound. It moved toward. It was hungry, and now it knew. The more victims, the stronger it would become. A yellow cab sat parked by the curb. Clean, well-kept, unremarkable among the others. But if one looked closely, they might notice the faintest movement along its body. Barely perceptible, a slight tremor, like the slow, steady breath of something alive. When the driver returned, everything seemed normal. He slid into the seat, placed his hands on the wheel, and froze. The seat beneath him was warm, not from the sun, but from something else. The fabric felt slightly damp. Sticky. He frowned, running his fingers along the backrest, and suddenly, his hand sank into the material, as if pressing into soft, yielding flesh. What the hell? Before he could react, the seatbelt snapped shut across his chest, tightening with crushing force, knocking the air from his lungs. The steering wheel melted, stretching into a wide, yawning mouth. The seat beneath him trembled, muscles contracting, pulling him in. He thrashed, clawing at the dashboard, but it was already dissolving, wrapping around his hands. He tried to scream, but the car swallowed his voice, inhaling it like a final breath. Minutes later, the engine rumbled to life on its own. The tires rolled smoothly onto the road. It could move now. The city pulsed with life. Rain washed grime from the streets. Neon lights flickered in puddles. People hurried home, barely watching where they stepped. The taxi pulled up to the curb. "Free!" a man in an expensive suit asked, lighting a cigarette. The door swung open by itself. The man slid inside, not noticing how the seat was too soft, almost molding to his body. "Downtown," he muttered, flicking his cigarette into the street. The cab pulled away, soft music played from the speakers, streetlights passed in a rhythmic blur. But something was changing. The air inside grew heavier, wetter. The scent of engine oil twisted into something rotten sweet, like meat left out in the sun. The man shivered. "Bit hot in here," he murmured, reaching for the window, but the button didn't work. He pulled the door handle, locked. The seat beneath him seemed to shift, deepened, softened. Something slick slithered along his back. "Hey, stop the car." The seatbelt tightened. He jerked, but something thin, wet, and cold dangled from the ceiling, brushing against his cheek. He screamed. The seat beneath him split open. Dark, living tissue wrapped around his body, dragging him inward. A minute later, the interior looked the same as before. The taxi turned onto a new street. The digital sign lit up, "Available." The next passenger was already waiting.